Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We have an exciting video for you today. Because, most importantly, Elon Musk drops some huge news, okay? Elon was asked if he would leave Tesla if the compensation package does not get approved. And he gives like a 4-minute long breakdown of how he's thinking about this and what he would or would not do if the comp package does not get approved. And really what I got out of that is there is still a way to keep Tesla at Elon keep Elon at Tesla if the package initially does not go through. Now, it is widely expected to pass, and we'll talk about, what Tesla stock will do following that vote. I've been pretty open and transparent with you guys on my opinion there, but after next Thursday, November 6th, we'll talk about what to expect for Tesla stock. This is an exciting video. We're going to cover that and all of your recent news for Tesla. Ladies and gentlemen, the only thing I ask you to do is hit the like button, number one. Number two, subscribe to the channel. And if you're feeling reckless in a good way, a post-Halloween kind of way, check out that link down below in the description of today's episode. If you want to come join the trading community, come invest with us. See, what we're doing over there is trying to find the next 1,000%er, okay? A lot of people chase the 1,000% stock, went up 1,000% in the last 3 months. That does not excite me. The opportunity is gone. I want to find the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Over the last 12 months, we have like 5 of them, 5,000% winners. APLD, Novitas, Nebius is close to that. We had Palantir on IPO day. So maybe like 3 or 4 of them. Maybe I'm missing a couple. But I think the next 12, 24, 36 months, we're going to uncover a lot more of these big winners. These are just the big winners, not the smaller winners, but we want the big winners. And that is what we are investigating, identifying, investing in. So check that link out if you guys would like to, if you're feeling a little post-spooky. And let's get into today's episode. Okay, so we're going to cover a wide range of topics here. But first, I want to start with what Elon Musk just said about his compensation package. If, for whatever reason, it's not approved, what would be the next, step, okay, essentially? It's about a 4-minute long clip. Highly recommend you watch the whole thing. If you don't want to, we're going to skip right after that to discussing what happens next week when Elon's package does get approved. There's like a 98% chance that it gets approved according to most, betting markets, right? 95+% chance. So in the event that is true, Elon's package is approved, what happens next for Tesla stock? So first we have the clip, and then we'll talk about next Thursday and Tesla stock.
The First Amendment was freedom of speech. Why did they do that? It's because in the places that they came from, there wasn't freedom of speech, and you could be imprisoned or killed for saying things.
Can I ask you a question just to maybe move to a different topic? If you came and did this next week, we will be past the Tesla board vote. We talked about it last week, and we talked about how crazy ISS and Glass Lewis is. And
right.
We use this one insane example where like Ira Ehrenpreis didn't get the recommendation from ISS and Glass Lewis because he didn't meet the gender requirements, but then Kathleen also didn't.
It doesn't make any sense.
Can you, so the board vote is on the 6th. So
there's an African-American woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, they recommended against her, but then also recommended against our enterprise on the grounds he was insufficiently diverse. So I'm like, these things don't make any sense.
Yeah.
So I do think we've got a fundamental issue with corporate governance in publicly traded companies, where you've got about half of the stock market is controlled by passive index funds, and most of them outsource their decision to advisory firms, and particularly Glass Lewis and ISS. I call them corporate ISIS. So all they do is basically they're just terrorists. So they own no stock in any of these companies.
Right.
So I think that there's a fundamental breakdown of fiduciary responsibility here, where really, any company that's managing, even though they're passively managing, index funds or whatever, that they do at the end of the day have a fiduciary duty to vote, along the lines of what would maximize the shareholder returns, because people are counting on them. Like people, have say, have all their savings in say a 401k or something like that, and they're counting on the index funds to vote, do company votes in the direction that would ensure that their retirement savings do as well as possible. But the problem is, if that is then outsourced to ISS and Glass Lewis, which have been infiltrated by far left activists, because where far left, where basically political activists go. They go where the power is, and so effectively, Glass Lewis and ISS controlled the vote of half the stock market. Now, if you're a political activist, you know what a great place would be to go work? ISS and Glass Lewis, and they do. So my concern for the future, because this is the Tesla thing is it's called sort of compensation, but really it's not about compensation. It's not like I'm going to go out and buy a yacht with it or something. It's just that if I'm going to build up Optimus and have all these robots out there, I need to make sure we do not have a Terminator scenario, and that I can maximize the safety of the robots, but I feel like I need to have something like a 25% vote, which is enough of a vote to have a strong influence, but not so much of a vote that I can't be fired if I go insane. So it's kind of, but my concern would be, creating this army of robots and then being fired for political reasons, because of ISS and Glass Lewis, declined to ISIS and Glass Lewis fire me effectively, or the activists at those firms fire me, even though I've done everything right.
Yeah,
that's my concern. Yeah, and then I cannot ensure the safety of the robots.
If you don't get that vote, if it doesn't go your way, it looks like it's going to, would you leave? I mean, is that even in the cards? I heard the board was very concerned about
that. Let's just say I'm not going to build a robot army if I can be easily kicked out by activist investors.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
And who is capable of running the 4 or 5 major product lines at Tesla? I mean, this is the madness of it. It's a very complex business. People don't understand what's under the hood there. It's not just a car company. You got batteries, you got trucks, you got the self-driving group, and this is a very complex business that's you've built over decades now. It's not a very simple thing to run. I don't think there's a Elon equivalent out there who can just jump into the cockpit.
By the way, if we take
Okay, so to me, when I heard that, I said, so Elon might not leave Tesla if the vote does not be approved. Now, Elon specifically says that he will not build a army of robots without significant say in the company. So 25%, 20%, we'll see. That sounds like minor details to me. The comp package should be approved, but if it is not, I don't think it guarantees that Elon will leave the company. Okay? I think the board and Elon and hopefully investors will give Elon a way to feel comfortable to stay at the company. It's crazy that some firms like Glass Lewis and ISS are legally allowed to do what they do, but I mean, hey, I we'll see what happens. Now, on most betting markets, there's over a 95% chance that Elon's comp package gets approved. This is by far the most likely outcome, with Dan Ives putting it as such that he would have a better chance of starting for the Yankees than Elon's package not getting approved. And other institutional investors and fund managers have also echoed similar comments. So it's going to get approved. Now, November 6th is next Thursday, okay? And the vote itself, I think, once Elon's package is approved, you're looking at 10 to 20% upside Thursday, okay? But that likely kicks off a pretty crazy rally to follow that, okay? Because I think a lot of the recent developments, Tesla stock hasn't really reacted to them like you'd think, okay? Because there's always this risk until Elon's comp package is approved, and this has been a headwind for Tesla stock for years now, Elon not having a pay package. There's always the risk that Elon could leave Tesla, right? That's not a 0% chance. I don't know what the percentage is, but it's such a consequential thing that it puts a lid on the stock, okay? I was actually watching a video today going down the wormhole of 3i Atlas. Is that the comet that has a chance of being like a spaceship or whatever? The Harvard scientist that raised the alarms on this comet did a Joe Rogan podcast and basically said that, hey, there's low odds that this thing is an alien technology, but the odds are not 0. And if the odds are not 0 of a black swan event, it's something you should pay attention to, right? And that's a way of thinking about Elon's comp package, okay? The odds are not 0. And the consequences of it going wrong, much the same way as, the consequences of thinking a comet is a comet and it's a freaking alien spaceship coming to attack Earth, the consequences, even if there's only a 1% chance or less, are so consequential that you have to price it in. You have to think about the consequences, okay? I'm making an analogy of a freaking outer space object to Elon's comp package, but hopefully you're getting the gist of it. Elon's comp package, although it has really good odds of success, and nobody has really thought over the years that Elon was going to leave Tesla. But even if there was a 1% chance that Elon could leave Tesla, or 5% or 10%, whatever Wall Street has priced in for that probability, the consequences would be so dire for Tesla, you have to discount everything else. Okay? You have to discount the robotaxi network, because what if Elon walks away one day? Then you're not really going to have a robotaxi network anymore. Okay? So much like the spaceship, right? Or the comet that may or may not be a spaceship, maybe there's a 0.1% probability that is actually an alien spaceship coming to attack Earth or coming to pay us a visit. But the consequences of that are potentially so bad that, it would be something you would have to take seriously, okay? These are what you call black swan events, like a COVID situation again, right? The consequence of not taking an early stage, sickness or illness seriously can, turn into something that is much worse. So you have to, discount it essentially. Now, when you're dealing with markets, discounting or pricing in has to do with equity prices, okay? I'm trying to keep this as simple and complex as possible so we don't lose as many people, but this is really based on standard deviations and probabilities and, difficult things to quantify. But basically, the stock has been pricing in the risk that Elon will leave Tesla for a long time. Even a small pricing in, a 2% chance, is going to discount all of the news that we've gotten for Tesla. For an example, what I'm trying to point out here is Elon hasn't had a comp package in a long time. Well, Tesla stock at an all-time high of $488.54 back on December 18th, 2024. Tesla has launched the robotaxi network since then. Okay? Tesla has launched new vehicles. They've hit new record quarterly delivery numbers. But the stock is still $32 below its previous high. Why is that? I would argue a good chunk of that, or a good reason for that, is Elon could inevitably leave Tesla because he does not have a pay package. The company doesn't have a CEO that has a contract, essentially, okay? If Elon wanted to wake up one morning and leave, he could have done that. So it's like you can't put all your eggs in one basket when it's literally just one person that holds such a large weight on Tesla, okay? Especially without a contract. Because the fact of the matter is, if Elon left Tesla, you're looking at an immediate 20% downside move in the stock. Then you're looking at a further 50 to 80% decline in the stock. Okay? Again, good news is, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. It looks like the comp package will be approved. And even if it is not approved, it doesn't look like Elon's going to be heading out the door as soon as as he possibly could, right? It doesn't seem like one of those situations. But again, good news is it looks like the package will be approved next week. And I think Thursday you're set up for 10 to 20% upside move. Now, heading into Thursday, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the stock because Tesla might trend higher. And if it trends higher, that's going to be a really good sign. Like, for an example, if we have a good Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Tesla stocks approaching, all-time highs, approaching that 480 level, that's going to be a really good sign that Wall Street is convinced that Elon's package is going to pass. Now, if we get some kind of wild, weird sell-off right before Elon's comp package, it's not a definitive that the package is going to fail, but it would raise some alarm bells in my mind. So the fact that Tesla stock has been rallying for a month or two now is instinctively a really good sign that people are confident his package will be approved. And I think once you get above, $500 per share after November 6th, after next Thursday, it's going to lead into a really strong Thursday, of course, 10-20% upside as we've been talking about, but it's going to lead into a very strong rally after that as well. I mean, a 10% move from here, that's already putting you at about $503, okay? A 20% move from here puts you at about $550. That could happen in a day. And then from there, you're going to start testing that $600 level as the year-end rally progresses into the end of the year. A strong November is likely coming. Then you can start to see where Tesla could, maybe hit even 650 by December 31st. That is Dan Ives' recent call on Tesla, that in a bull case, Tesla could be over a $2 trillion market cap in early 2026. That would put the stock at about $640 per share. Now, on top of that, Elon Musk also says that Tesla will have 1,000 or more robotaxis in the Bay Area by the end of this year. So you're talking about a very rapid expansion to the robotaxi network. Also says that Tesla will have 500 robotaxis in Austin by the end of this year. So again, rapid expansion. We have the Cybercab starting production around Q2 2026 that Elon confirmed will not have a steering wheel attached to it. Again, this is the vehicle that people are going to potentially be buying. Elon Musk actually said today that people might think they want a steering wheel, but they don't. So I don't know. You might be able to buy one of these if you're just a citizen. From my understanding, these were going to be robotaxi vehicles only, at least for now, because they're not going to have a steering wheel. You can't really operate everywhere without a steering wheel. So I don't know if Elon is inevitably projecting like FSD to be complete, like full self-driving, full autonomy. But it did sound like in the interviews, Elon is actually suggesting that citizens are going to be able to buy the Cybercab as well, which is interesting. So even when I look at all of this news, right? And when I think about the relation of Tesla stock now versus December, Tesla should be a $600 plus stock right now. You know how many robotaxis we had out on the road back in December? 0. We didn't even know if the robotaxi was actually going to come in 2025. Now Elon's projecting over 1,500 robotaxis out on the road by the end of this year. 8 to 10 cities was the projection for robotaxi by the end of this year. So, 100 maybe in each city, 50 in each city, whoever knows what the number is. Could be looking at 2,000 robotaxis out on the road by December 31st or shortly thereafter. Tesla stock is not pricing in a lot of that right now because of the uncertainty around the comp package. And after next Thursday, that uncertainty goes away. So let me know your thoughts on all of this down below in the comment section. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel. If you guys want to come trade, invest, come get involved with the community, that link is down below in the description of today's episode. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.